Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Saratoga Racecourse. Day number 14 of the 40-day 2020 meet. We have cloudy skies today. The temperature in the 80s. The main track is fast. The turf courses are firm, with the portable rails up at 18 feet on the melon and the inner. There's a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of $930,581. Here now the changes for today's 10-race card. In the first race, scratch number 1, Gowanna K. Scratch number 1, Gowanna Key. And please note that jockey Tyler Gaffleone will not be riding here today, so we have a jockey change in the first for number 6, Simply Ravishing. The rider is now Luis Saez. Luis Saez rides the 6, Simply Ravishing, and all horses in the first race will carry 1 pound over. No changes in the second. In today's third race, note that number 4, Bluegrass Parkway, is a first-time gelding. The 4, Bluegrass Parkway, first-time gelding. In today's fourth race, scratch the 5, Tailspin. Scratch number 5, Tailspin. Note that numbers 1, 3, 6, and 9 are 1 pound over, and number 7 will be 3 pounds over. Race 5 starts the Empire 6. No changes in the fifth. In today's sixth race, a rider change will be announced for number 2, Spun d'Etat. Rider change to be announced for the 2. Number 1 is 3 pounds over. All other horses will be 1 pound over. And scratch the 11, Loot, Scoot, and Boogie. Scratch number 11 out of race 6. No changes in the seventh race. In today's eighth, scratch the 4, Inside Info. Scratch number 4, Inside Info from race 8. Featured ninth race is the Birdstone Stakes. Scratch 1, Standard Deviation, and the 7, Highland Sky. Scratch 1 and 7. A rider change will be announced for number 5, American Tattoo. Rider change will be announced for the 5. And numbers 2, 3, and 4 are 2 pounds over. In today's 10th and final race, we have overweights. Number 2 is 4 pounds over, and these horses will be 2 pounds over. Numbers 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9. Fast and firm here at Saratoga with that jackpot carryover standing now at $930,581. We'll come back at 12:30 to recap the changes. The first race post on this Sunday at 1:10. Coming up next, it's Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile, and they're talking horses.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good morning and welcome to Talking Horses. Andy Serling, soon to be joined by the Big A, Anthony Stabile. Week number 3 coming to a close after a very eventful Whitney Day yesterday. And, of course, Talking Horses is brought to you by our good friends at Saratoga Water. Great Whitney Day. We want to thank everybody for participating and making it, I believe, the highest handle non-Travers Day we've ever had at Saratoga. So a great day yesterday. And we saw some great races. Anthony and I will talk a little bit about the Whitney and some of those races in a moment. But you know the drill. If you're not a member of NYRA Bets, head on over. We will match up to $200 of your initial deposit. Use the promo code SPA for new members and join NYRA Bets. We're offering a promotion if you bet $25 or more on both the last race here and the 4th at Del Mar. Friday through Sundays, a $5 free bonus. Also, you can watch all the action every day, live, in HD, on Saratoga Live. Check NYRA.com/Saratoga Live for the entire schedule. As promised, he's here, the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Stabile.
You know, I have a problem with how you present the bottle of water. You see here on the close-up now, I think this is a lot better. And I have much bigger hands than you, but you have to get the name, Saratoga Water. Thank you to everybody at Saratoga Water. You're covering it up like it's no good, man. It's no good.
You feel better now?
Hand model school. When I went to my hand modeling school days, yeah. I feel good. I feel okay, as Teddy KGB would say.
Shall we take a look at yesterday's stretch run of the Whitney? And obviously the race was changed when Tom's d'Etat stumbled coming out of the gate. I don't even know if it was a stumble. Whatever it was, coming out of the race, he actually ran extremely well in here eventually. But it was all about improbable. Code of Honor was an enormous disappointment in here, but Probable delivered in a big way. And at this point, I think he has to be considered the top handicap horse, but a lot of racing left to go, or top older horse.
Yeah. To me, Tom's d'Etat is still the top older horse.
Results matter.
The results
has two great ones, Anthony.
Results matter.
Source has two great ones.
Results matter when the race is on the square. And once that horse walks out of the starting gate, the race is not on the square anymore.
Results matter. If there was a vote right now, you'd be the one guy, and they'd say, "Who is that jerk who voted for Tom d'Etat over Improbable?"
You want to bet a lunch that and I won't.
There'd be other jerks that did that. Yeah, there would be. There are a lot of jerks.
I won't vote. I won't vote. I will bet you more people have Tom's d'Etat on top than you would think they would. Because
nothing surprised me in voting. Blaine didn't win Horse of the Year, so nothing in voting surprises me in this game. People vote with their hearts and not with their heads.
I don't know how.
Way too many people have votes that shouldn't have votes.
I'm going to have a huge problem.
I'm not against Tom d'Etat, but Improbable's now the leader of that division.
I'm going to have a big problem assessing that Whitney going forward because the race changes from Jump Street.
I don't disagree, but I still think you have to give the credit to Improbable for winning the race and winning it decisively.
But the break takes Tom's d'Etat out of the game, and then that in turn kind of takes Code of Honor out of the game.
No.
You think Tom's d'Etat breaks? That horse is going to go 25-50?
Anthony, making the mistake of suggesting that Code of Honor didn't run terribly yesterday would be very foolish.
I don't think he ran well, but I also
was very giving of you to notice that.
I also believe the entire complexion of the race changed.
What do you think the pace is going to be?
If you think Joel Rosario was going to let Mr. Buff go 50.
Joe Rosario was going to be about as worried about Mr. Buff as you would be about a mosquito buzzing around
He
your
would have
head.
been laid right on top of him, not in front of him.
So what?
Going that slow.
So what? Why would he have been in front of Improbable? He's no faster than Improbable early.
Wow.
Improbable didn't seem to care about him. I think you're delusional, honestly.
I
this
think
is like
on the square,
not one of your better moments.
I think on the square, Tom's d'Etat will beat Improbable like a drum.
You mean like when Improbable had a tougher trip and Tom's d'Etat beat him by 3/4 of a length at Oakland? What drum was he beating then?
When Tom's d'Etat was going the mile,
I feel bad about
Improbable
Tom's
has the
d'Etat,
advantage.
and I agree. You don't want to see these races marred by bad starts, and Al Stall's a friend, and I wanted to see the horse run well, and all that stuff. But having said that, you're making way too much of this. I'm not saying that Tom's d'Etat couldn't have won the race, because you absolutely don't know if he could have won the race. But he didn't win the race, and suggesting this race would have been run in a dramatically different fashion that would have somehow helped Code of Honor is lunacy.
No. What I'm saying is, I don't think Code of Honor was getting anything yesterday.
He was going to be fourth yesterday, wherever he did.
I can't say that with certainty because of the way the race unfolded.
Yes, you can.
You can.
Anyone can, Anthony. I'm sure that Shug knows that his horse didn't fire a shot
He didn't
yesterday.
fire, but he also didn't have any help in firing.
He didn't figure to have any help. Did you look at the race?
I did, but it was going to be a lot.
I'm not sure you did.
It was going to be a lot faster than
I'm starting to think you didn't look at the race.
It was going to be a lot faster
No,
than
it wasn't, Anthony.
Okay.
It wasn't. It wasn't projected to be, and it wasn't.
You thought they were going to go 49 and change.
I'm not surprised. Oh, yeah, you know me. I'm always shocked when a pace is slow around here. I expect him to be ripping it up out there every race. What planet are you on?
I don't know, man. We looked at that. We're going to look at that
we still have 10
differently.
races to go, so we're just getting started. Race number 1, a lot of guessing in race number 1. I didn't have to guess this. I knew Anthony would pick Bill Mott and Christophe Clement for the exacta in the first race. I knew.
You knew that was coming.
I would have laid 1 to a billion on that.
You knew that was coming. And I'm just taking a little bit of a better price with Glenn, the number 5 for Bill Mott. The Hall of Famer, Junior Alvarado. So this is a decent enough work tab. A couple of breezes on the turf. They're kind of slow. Half-brother Sight won a bunch of times. I think 5 races. Mare was good on the turf, 3 for 10. There's been some production. Bill usually has these horses in fine fettle to go the mile in a 16. Whether they win or not.
Did you really just say fine
I did.
fettle?
Whether they win or not.
What are you, sweeps?
Whether they win or not is another story. But take a little bit of a price in here and go.
Yeah,
with
it'll be a
number
big
5
price.
Blend.
The horse has pedigree. I don't deny it. I sort of guess too. I mean, the thing is, a horse like the 3 Mrs. Frankel is currently 8-5. You've got a barn that's cold. You've got a horse that was horrifically bad first time out with an absolutely perfect trip. Now they're going to try to stretch the horse out. Listen, she has experience. She has a big pedigree. She was awful in her 1 race. Doesn't mean she won't win. I put her second, but she was
For
awful.
everything you said, the most important thing there is, in my opinion, perfect trip, did not run a step.
Is she in fine fettle for this race, though?
I would think she's
Make sure you point out the fine fettle horses of each race.
I'm sure she's in finer fettle.
You're in fine fettle this morning.
I told you.
Number 2,
little,
Feeling Pretty, is my top choice for John Kimmel. I was thinking about Crystalline, the horse that I said to John, the horse you won with last year. He goes, no, the horse I got disqualified with last year, 30-1. And I like Temple Cities. I thought the horse's 10-5 sales workout was actually kind of interesting. Horse seemed to be going nowhere and just kind of revved up into it. And thought the horse might be kind of interesting. I just looking for a little bit more of a price, I figured. I'm all guessing here. And I think at the end of the day, Mrs. Frankel might win. Maybe the Wesley Ward horse will improve, though his numbers are terrible stretching out with maidens. I didn't think either of them were that good, so I kind of want the other ones. And I know that Clement, if Clement could win with that horse in the stake yesterday, I guess there's no race he can't win. But this horse really does not have a plethora of turf pedigree down at the bottom.
No, but he sees that, and he's still running her on the turf.
Well, a lot of times they run on the turf because they show them nothing on the dirt. I mean, that's also the case.
Yep.
We'll see how things play out. Race number 1, 2-year-olds on the grass. Race number 2, the people who are sane assume that Walk-Off is going to be tough to beat in this race. And we'll take a look at Walk-Off winning 2 back. Thought Walk-Off ran fine last time out. He got a good trip to get it done. I don't love the outside post. I just thought he was better than these horses.
Yeah, his 1-2 turn race up here last year was against much better, much tougher. I still don't think he did much running that day. I don't know how far this horse actually wants to go. I think he was helped. 2 starts back.
You don't know how far
by a
walk-off wants to go.
Yeah, I don't. By a pretty quick pace.
Well, he ran the same speed figure going a mile and an eighth here last year. Basically, he was running going other distances. In fact, faster than his races at 6 furlongs. He ran 80 buyers at mile and a 16th, but you don't think he can go a mile and an eighth.
No, I don't like him. I don't like him in a mile and an eighth.
Well, you might want to come up with a better excuse. No. You don't think he can go this far.
Why?
Because
That's what I think.
Because it doesn't bear out looking as PPs, and everybody can see that.
Okay.
This
is a horse you've done nothing but knock.
I know.
His entire career.
And correctly
and
so.
all of a
Except
sudden
when I
today,
picked,
all of a sudden today, off a $20,000 claim from Mike Maker, cutting in half to run for the 12.
Anthony,
I pick horses based on even money.
I pick horses based on the races they're running in.
How many lunches against the 2 horses?
I mean,
I have
of the 56 lunches, you're
how
down.
How many you want?
Of the 56 lunches,
well,
you're
hold
down.
on. It's 56 because you didn't have the guts to pull the trigger on Marzo yesterday.
No, because
when everybody in America thought Cross Border was going to be in front, and I told you that Marzo would be in front.
Anthony,
but you wouldn't pull that trigger.
Marzo was in front because there was intention to put the horse in front, not because he's faster. You don't look at pace figures, and you're wrong about paces all the time.
The horse was 5 in front.
Let's get on with the show. This is getting
5
ridiculous.
5 in front yesterday.
You get this is ridiculous.
5. I want the horses that
56 lunches.
5 in front. Do you want to talk about the stats at the meet? I mean, do we have to go to that point?
Anthony.
Please don't.
Can we please talk about the race and stop turning this into what it is?
I want the 2 horses that have 2-turn experience. I want the 2 horses that have won multiple races. I want Mills.
Do I know the stats for 3 years? Because that was really weak, Anthony.
I want Mills.
Really weak.
I want Shadow Rider. That was for a friend. I want Mills.
For a friend? We'll talk about the stats for 3 years, Anthony. They're not pretty.
I want Mills and I want Shadow Rider. That's who I want. I want the 2 horses
good luck to you.
That have won multiple races, and I want
I
the
thought the
horses that have won
danger in
around 2
here was
turns.
that Horoscope could wire the field, so I did put him in second. I'm not confident about it, but I thought there was an outside chance. And listen, maybe Curlin Glay will get back to the better races. We'll see if the Joe Sharp horse can run.
I just have a tough time back in these cold barns up here.
I don't disagree.
Because there are a lot of hot barns, too. And when you're running into the hot barns, and there's not to say that there's anybody's really that hot up in this field, but you kind of feel like the cold barns, it's just really been hard for them to get going up here.
I'm not disagreeing. But on the other hand, you say Joe Sharp's barn's cold. He's run 3 or 4 horses.
Yeah, he's run like 6 horses. That horse the other day, Lady TNT, didn't run.
I don't disagree, but we're not talking about a barn that's 0 for 20. We're talking about 0 for a handful of starters.
This horse is going to be what? 8 to 5?
I don't know. I'm not sure I agree with David because this horse is a bit of a plotter. So I think people will be concerned the horse will be a little farther back. And I thought that might prevent the horse from taking that much money. Race number 3. Tide of the Sea, Mr. Alec. Tide of the Sea's last race at Belmont. At the end of the day, if he runs back to this race, he's 1-9 to win the race today. He ran sensationally. He got run down by a Chad Brown runner that ran very well to beat him. He was on top of the pace the whole way. He's going to be on top of it in all likelihood again today, and he's just better than these horses. I think he improved for Mike Maker, and I expect him to be very tough to beat. I don't see a really strong case for him losing.
Yeah, you can almost argue he might have been best last time.
Yeah.
They took a look. The stewards took a look at this actually last time, and he only gets beat a re-rallying head was the official margin in the PPs. Yeah, him and Mr. Alec. I mean, it's kind of hard to find anybody else in here, right?
Well, why do you think Mr. Alec's going to beat him today?
I just think Mr. Alec, with the race under his belt last time, has a little bit more room for improvement.
Christophe Clement has very good numbers off of layoffs with turf routers. So why wouldn't he have been ready to run last time?
I just think he's gonna. I think he's gonna benefit.
You're just
from a race
assuming all the
under his
Clement horses are going to win up
well,
here.
the first time he ran him a mile and a 16th, and then he came back and he improved 7 buyer points.
Right, because he's a better distance horse.
I don't disagree with that, but I also think this horse is going to benefit. It was a 7-month break last time. I think he's going to benefit.
Okay.
Tide of the Sea had the same break, and he seemed to thrive.
David's got him the same
on
price. I don't think they're in the same galaxy of their chances.
No,
to
I mean,
win.
I would think the entry's going to be a lot shorter. I mean, Tide of the Sea, obviously, but I mean, it's not like Channel Island is without any chance in here.
It's a pretty small chance. He'll be better off going longer than he's been going shorter.
Two short races.
But they
prep.
dropped him, and he didn't run at all in those races. And I know shorter or not, he didn't run at all in those races. I guess Bluegrass Parkway is slightly the interesting horse in here and more of the alternative. And I toy with putting him second because I didn't see how Mr. Alec could beat the favorite in here. I don't know.
He's a fresh gelding, too, this horse.
Ooh.
And that's plenty of time. 8 months is plenty of time.
All right, race number 3 at 1 3/8. Race number 4. It's important, I think, to note Kilmarnock and watch his last race. He probably wasn't winning here, but I do think it's important to show both the start of the race, and you'll see that, he doesn't get off well. So right away, he's had a problem. He stumbles there. So that's bad enough. But it gets worse because he gets completely eliminated around the turn. Now, was he going to win? No. But, no, I'm not sure. But as he tries to come through between horses, the door gets completely shut off on him here. And this was a nightmare trip, and this is when he's trying to rally. Now, he probably wasn't going to beat Cobble Hill anyway. He's way the horse to beat in here.
Yeah. And Cobble Hill has come back to win and run a good second to Zealous.
Well, off the claim for Rudy.
On Friday, off the claim, yeah. But he has improved. Yeah, no pun intended.
So why determine one?
No real knocks on Kilmarnock, but I just wanted a horse that was. This horse was one dirt race. He'd need to improve off of it, but I do believe that 6 months after running it, 5.5 months after running it, I think Ray Lou will keep him up close. He'll be a bit of a better price than some of the others in here.
But is that race he ran good enough to beat horses in?
No,
here?
I said he has to improve, but I think I'd kind of rather try him improving. That there's no killers in here, right? I mean, we've seen Kilmarnock 5 times now. Bank Gala's 0 for 17. A lot of horses in here have had multiple chances, and I just wanted to take a horse. I don't think this horse is going to be 4-1. I think it'll be higher. Because I think your horse is going to take money getting back to the dirt. I think Kilmarnock.
Well, you didn't have my horse in the top 5.
I think he's going to take money.
Well, why don't you like my horse? Well, don't show the replay yet.
He last time out.
Last time was on the turf.
Last time was on the turf. I get it, but I mean.
Last time was on the turf.
I picked him last time. I bet him last time.
Good pick.
I did not like the way he finished up last time.
Okay, let's take a look at his dirt race because I think it's important to see it. He breaks slow in here and sluggishly, and you can see Kendrick's trying to get him motivated, and once he gets him motivated, this horse absolutely flies up into the pace, and you don't really get a sense of the race he ran if you're looking at the chart. You have to really have watched the replay to see that he ran a very different race, I think, than it looks like in the chart. And I'm always looking for horses that's the case. And then Kendrick realized, all right, I'm in a kind of a tough spot. I'm not going to be able to keep up with this horse. So he sort of drops back. I don't think he ran that badly after that whole situation. And I know Bruce ran on the turf. I hear you. He did run badly last time. You're right. He did run much worse than he ran the first time. I
Doesn't
can't
it
argue with
bother
that.
you that he ran him on the turf?
No.
Because this horse doesn't have a lot of turf pedigree. It bothered me that he ran him on the turf.
Okay.
And then when he ran well on the turf, I said, let me give him a shot last time. The blinkers went on. I figured he'd be sharper. He wasn't. He stunk.
Okay.
That was my big problem with him.
Okay.
My big problem with him was you're right. He did not run that
What was
poorly
your
on the
big
dirt.
problem with Bank Gala? Isn't the 8 Bank Gala pretty logical?
0 for 17. I've had enough. I've had enough.
But he is a horse that's consistently run figures that are fast enough to win
Don't you think he
here.
wants a little more
He's gotten
ground?
2 straight wet tracks against much better horses. No, I think he makes an enormous. I don't think he wants more distance. He's run fine going shorter. I think he makes perfect sense. If he runs his race behind Kid Doro from 3 back, you better be.
But that's the exception to a 17 race career.
That's fair.
Rule.
That's fair. But I don't know. I wouldn't be so dismissive of this horse. I don't love him. I'm not a 0 for 17 guy either.
Yeah,
but I don't.
He's hard to. I wanted some different. I wanted some fresh faces.
Like JP's song off that terrific debut.
Listen, I'd rather have him at 3 times the price of Bank Gala.
What about Bealfield? Well, you've got 4th based on. I mean, it's not going to be Bank Gala. Okay. Race
I
number
don't like
5. We will come to the midpoint of the card, closing out the early pick 4 and pick 5. I don't want to take 3 to 5 drop-down horses, but Unleveraged is a 5-year-old that's been tough to keep on the racetrack, and I don't know. We'll show his race finishing 3rd to Red Eye right hand. I just think Chad's running where he can win. He's not winning a non-winners at 2. He is who he is, and he's probably going to win this race and probably going to win it fairly easily. I'm just not trying to beat a horse like this.
I took a little shot with my pet bad guy, but he's supposed to win. I do think, though, at 2 to 5, 3 to 5, and, I'm next to you, the biggest Chad Brown fan there is. The barn's a little cold right now. It's going a little slow. So
they won a race yesterday. They lost by a nose.
I said a little slow. All I'm saying is at 2 to 5, 3 to 5, for everything you said, this horse has been hard to keep on the racetrack, and now he's in for the 35. I'm going to take one swing against
But
him.
what is your
with-
excuse
with
for
bad
bad guys last race?
Well, you said last time he had no chance. It was a
He
big
didn't.
step up.
You picked him,
You,
but he
you
didn't.
turned out to be right.
He got a wicked pace, and he couldn't even pick up an inch of ground.
Yeah, he caught a wicket. He did not run 2 steps. Maybe he came back a little quick. I don't know.
I mean, if it was me picking him, you'd say to me, have you considered the possibility he's a one-turn horse? That's what you would say to me.
Well, that's one
But
turn.
that's what you would say to me. Am I wrong?
No, he could be a one-turn horse. He could absolutely be a one-turn horse. I know you think he's probably a dirt horse.
No, I don't. No. I don't. Listen, I agreed with you when you liked him 2 races back. I didn't disagree with you at all. In fact, I didn't pick him because I knew you were going to pick him, and I let you
I think
have him.
outside of unleveraged, they're all kind of the same here, aren't they?
Well, yes and no, Anthony. No, they're not.
You don't think so?
I don't see how bad guy's competitive here. I know Rudy and you are friends, but I don't see how he's competitive here. I don't.
Well, he's supposed to get a good pace set up again.
He is?
Ian Glass is going to go.
Okay.
Lagosity's going to go.
Really? So they'll be the first fast pace of the meet in this race?
I
This
think
is
they're
where it's going to
I think
happen?
they're
This is going to be the
gonna-
first
I
fast
think they're
pace of
gonna
the
go
turf?
quick. I think they're going to go quick enough. And look, that plays right into unleveraged hands.
Right.
Don't
I mean,
don't
if
get me
you're
wrong.
saying the race is going to set up for
Yeah.
bad guys, it's going to set up so much better for unleveraged. It's kind of hard. You're trying to get a horse to win who has he's even more of a plotter than the favorite. You're just hoping the favorite doesn't show up, basically. Which is fine, but
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about not show up. I think if bad guy runs his race 2 races back and the favorite kind of doesn't show up.
I think bad guy, if he's going to be effective in the turf, that 7 was so perfect for him. That was such a
might
perfect
be
storm
right.
for him.
You might be right.
And I have trouble really seeing him, running well in these races. On the other hand, listen, if you go to the go-back races, he does have decent enough races going 2 turns in the turf. So that would have been the argument I would have used against you, which is, well, in the past he has run well. I just wonder if it was just that was the day. You know what I mean?
Could have been.
You had him on the day, and it was a great pick,
Could have
and
been.
it was the day he was supposed to. I mean, not that he was, you lost to Shiraz, which is always the case when a horse like Shiraz wins. It
Listen,
beats you for
like
a
I
score.
said, I'd sign a contract for 7-1 right now. I'll take it. If it's going to come in, I'll take this. I'll take the 7-1 right now. But
And you're turning on your buddy Raylu.
I'm
That's
gonna-
probably why
I'm
when
gonna
we saw him
take,
coming in today, you guys didn't, because you picked a horse that he lost the mount on.
hold on.
No, that's
he was
why I
wearing
could
a
sense
jacket
that.
with shorts.
No.
And you cannot wear long sleeves with shorts. That is unacceptable.
So that's what it was. It wasn't that you were
I
embarrassed
told
that
him.
you're
I
a
said, you can't
traitor.
be doing. I said, don't ever
But
do
now
that
he
again.
knows what a traitor you are, that you've abandoned him. You're just going to ignore all of this. You're going to try to weasel out of this. I didn't like anybody else near. That's my problem in this race.
That's
I
what I
thought
mean.
Ian Glass and the number 4 Megacity were second and third by default.
Is it
Now,
Mega City or is it Megacity?
I don't know.
I don't know what it is. I went Megacity.
It should be Mega City,
It
right?
should be,
Is
right?
Megacity a word?
Shouldn't.
You got a phone. Look
I
it up.
don't know.
Just those fat fingers of yours
I
to look
don't
it up.
know. I have no
You asked for
idea.
that.
I have
And
no
War Film
idea.
can't run at all anymore. I mean, he was terrible last time.
I tried him peripherally last
I know
time.
you
He didn't
did.
run 2 steps.
Yeah.
He didn't run 2 steps.
Where'd you have another in that race? You
I
asked for
didn't.
that too.
I didn't.
You
Listen,
asked
my
for
man,
that
don't
too.
listen.
Oh, that's right.
Do
You
me
didn't
a
think
favor.
you didn't think he had the speed to keep
Don't
up.
let me
He
go.
wired the.
Don't let.
You didn't think he
I'm
had the
going to tell
speed
you
to
right
keep
now.
up. He
You make
wired the
one more
field.
comment. I'm bringing the Excel spreadsheet here on Wednesday.
Okay, I'll bring the one from 3 years.
I'm bringing it.
And you'll be in tears.
I'm bringing it.
We're going to take a quick break. The battle will continue after we hear from Saratoga Water.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
We're back on Talking Horses.
We couldn't find
He's
any
the Big
boxing
A,
gloves
Anthony
around.
Stabile, and of course we are brought to you by. Wait, how do I have to hold it? Like, because you're a
Hold
hand
it.
model.
You have to hold it.
By the way, he doesn't even watch Seinfeld, and he doesn't even know that it's a big hand.
No, I have no idea.
Oh, there's
Is that
a
what
very
it is?
funny
No,
hand
then I
model.
won't
See,
do it.
that's
I
why
won't
you
do-
should
now I
watch
won't do it
it.
ever again.
Just an idiot.
We even have different water. Here
Race
today.
number 6.
Still
A week and a
sparkling.
half ago, Anthony would have picked Modine, but he's discarded his friend Chad
I
Brown
have
like he's
not.
just garbage. Just
Chad, don't listen
thrown
to
him-
this.
Oh, he knows. You knows you
Chad,
kicked him the curb.
don't
He
listen
knows.
to
Don't
this.
worry. He knows. He knows. Anthony's kicked. You've kicked him. He's behind like
I got
he's
a
behind
tip
like
on-
5 of your other
I got a
friends.
tip on this horse.
Oh, a tip.
Yeah.
How'd
Got
the
a
tip on the
this
Asmussen horse work out yesterday?
No, it wasn't Asmussen. It was a Nyquist. It was O'Neill.
How did his tip do in yesterday's
Awful.
first? One horse showed up and nobody else showed up. That was
Every other tip was no good.
It's weird, and that does happen. You have these races, and everybody says this horse can run, that
Was
horse
it
can run,
one-
and they run, they don't. But
1, 3, 5, and 8, and it came 3, 4.
no, it was 1A,
Right, 1A.
3, 5, and 8. Correct. Yes, correct.
And it came 3, 4.
Blank, blank,
2
blank, blank,
something?
blank, blank. Was one of them fourth?
Maybe.
Reinvestment risk, by the way, a 90 buyer in yesterday's
That was a big
first
effort.
race.
That was a big
He's the
effort.
summer book favorite for the hopeful.
I heard that yesterday, yes. Very clever. of you. Very clever. Anyway, yeah, 4s and 6s for me. Mostly, Lady Lily is a little bit of a push. Heard this horse can run. This guy, man. This
From
guy
who?
don't stop.
Nyquist called you? Nyquist called you and said,
Paul Redham
said
called.
my daughter's
Paul
running.
Redham called. He said, listen.
Paul Redham called, he'd be calling it alone.
Yeah.
That's what happened if he called.
Not wrong. Yeah, I like the gate work 2 back, 59 and change.
You didn't like the gate work. You got a tip on the horse. It's okay. That's all right.
But I told you, I will always declare the
No,
tip.
I
but
know,
don't
but you
always pick
don't
them.
have to dress it up with
But I will
some
always
like the
pick them.
workout.
And you know my man Joel Rosario.
We're on
is
race
gonna-
10, by the way.
My man-
Someone's trying to get us off.
Wow.
Not that I blame them.
My man Joel Rosario on board always piques my interest.
Today's like a weird day. I felt weird coming over, too. I don't know what it was.
I told you I slept and I'm still tired.
I had a nice breakfast
Now
with
it's
Mom,
also
though.
it is worth noting that Ricardo Santana Jr. for Asmussen was named on the also eligible.
Oh.
And not on Lady Lily. So
Could that have been a Bloom Racing thing?
well, yeah, I mean,
You know,
it
I
could
saw
have been.
I saw Ricardo yesterday, and obviously felt bad Midnight Bisou. I'll say a couple things about the Midnight Bisou race. There are a lot of people that make very stupid comments about buyer figures, and if you don't like them, that's fine. You'll do very well betting against them if you're right. Vexatious showed last time that she was for real based on the fig.
Yeah.
And a lot of people said that's not possible. Well, it was. But the other thing is, and I'll say this after race a lot, I'm going to withhold judgment in the race till I see what the fig comes up. Well, the fig came up at 105. So the reality is that Midnight Bisou ran one of the best races she's ever run. She just happened to run into a horse that ran a little bit better than she did yesterday. So Midnight Bisou, she didn't lose in defeat. She actually gained in defeat. She just happened to run into a horse that ran better. And I think a lot of people are so result-oriented that they somehow knock any horse because it loses. And don't knock horses because they lose until you've really fully looked at the race.
And I haven't completely picked the race apart, but I will say this. Anybody
Shocking.
who is attempting to blame this at all on Ricardo Santana Jr. and
Well,
the
that's
obvious
idiotic.
question,
Even though it was a perfect
the
ride.
obvious question is going to be, does Mike Smith win on Ricardo Santana Jr.? I don't think that result changes that. I think Ricardo Santana
could
Jr.
anybody
gave her
think it
a
changes?
perfect ride. A lot of people, Twitter exploded. Mike Smith wins.
Well, if you just take the
That result
opposite
is
of the
happening
opinion on
yesterday.
Twitter all the time, then you're going to be right all the time.
That result is happening yesterday. Whether Mike Smith's aboard, I think Ricardo gave her a perfect ride.
There is no
She
rider
got
in the
outgained.
country that would have been on that horse that would have won that race.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
The winner ran big, and
think
take away.
Ricardo gave her a
Saying things like that
spectacular
is just taking away from how well Vexatious
Yep.
ran. But so did Midnight Bisou. She
And
lost.
Jose Lozcano gave her a brilliant ride as well, making sure
She's riding very well.
she saw Midnight Bisou, and yeah, good
right,
job.
he came out without hurting.
He came out.
He came out
that
without
was
her.
another thing. People arguing about how she has to come down. How does she come down?
God.
I don't know how she's supposed to.
There
come
have
down
been,
yesterday.
and you know me, I take them down for hurting. There have been significantly worse hurting events that I would have left up than that one. I mean, that was nothing. He came out to meet her. That was absolutely
Yeah.
nothing. Anyway,
That's race riding.
yeah, good race though. Good race, and Midnight Bisou. I think she showed that she's back. Frankly, she just happened to run second. You're allowed to run well and lose.
You are allowed to. That's. I heard that.
I mean, it's just like so result-oriented. Anyway, I am guessing with Modine. Chad Brown had his first winner yesterday. He's got some 2-year-olds ready to go. We'll see. It's not. I don't have a big story on this horse. I told Chad yesterday I picked the horse yesterday. He said, "Oh, the horse will run well." Like he didn't. We didn't. I don't really ask him, and he doesn't really share big opinions on them, especially a lot of his horses. But I just thought I'd guess this one. I do.
Mare was 2 for 7. Both of them were going long.
I think it's worth mentioning the Run Happy, the 5. Because this horse is a New York bred, and in order to run for the $100,000 bonus, you have to be in a maiden special, non-restricted. So obviously Danny Gargan likes this horse, because if he didn't think this horse was good, he would
at least compete in
have
the
a
open
chance to
race.
win. I mean, that doesn't mean he's going to win, but if he didn't think this horse had a chance to win, he would not be running against opens. He'd say, "I'll run against New York breds because I'm not going to blow the bonus anyway."
And sometimes
I would assume.
sometimes ignorance is bliss. This might be the opposite. Using that thinking, I put this filly third because he has to think she can run.
Yeah.
And compete at the very least.
Yeah. And maybe she can.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't know really where else I'm supposed to go in this race because the thing is, we'll show the replay for Beautiful Farewell's last race. I don't know. She was running against the boys, to be fair, and she does have the experience. I guess she could win. She could improve, right? I shouldn't, be totally dismissive of her. Maybe none of these horses are that good. We're ready to win first time out.
She showed speed. Blinkers come right off after the blinker debut. I didn't know what to do with her. I left. I guess you could make a little bit of a case for her.
These are Nyquist's first falls, right?
Yeah.
By the way,
Yep.
Has he any winners? Well, I'm the worst with that stuff.
I think so. I'm not 100% certain though. I mean, Spun d'Etat for our friend Tom Amos. Ships in from Keeneland.
I didn't love that field she comes out of.
I didn't either, but I'll say this. She's not only has she run, but she's been 3 quarters. And that could be a powerful tool to have in a race filled with firsters having to go 6 first time out. So I just thought she was maybe a peripheral player in here. She'd have to. You would think, though, with the 3 fillies in the middle of the pack, you'd have to assume one of them can run, and that she'd have to improve off of 51 by her first time out to be competitive in the end.
Race number 7. I struggled with race number 7. Now, we'll show Douse's Beach and the trouble that resulted in a 2-hour inquiry, and the stewards made the right decision after a lengthy look to not disqualify anybody. They clearly was not the horse they were blinking that did anything. Maybe the horse outside came in. I don't really think the horse had a hole. And I'll tell you something. You were right to chide me for picking this horse last time. And I kind of knew it at the time. I'll tell you what bothered me more than that. You can dismiss the basically ease because of the trouble.
Yeah, forget that.
But you know what I didn't like? I didn't like this horse doesn't have his speed anymore.
I
asked him for speed at the start. He just got completely outrun.
And, again, it's funny. His speed is gone on firm turf. But when he catches anything with give in the ground, it's almost like he can show his speed.
When has he had give in the ground this year?
No. Leaving last year.
No. He had speed on firm turf. But anyway. More fantasy. When? August 24th.
He wasn't on the lead. I mean, he's on the lead in the yielding races.
He had speed.
He's on the lead in the yielding
To those of
races.
us that actually believe what speed is, it's not necessarily being on the lead. It's having speed.
He's just, listen, it's obvious this horse is not the horse he was in the Jason Service barn. And
it's a funny horse because he had kind of lost it for Christophe Clement. He got claimed by Brad Cox, and he ran 2 or 3 extraordinary races, and then he completely lost it. Then Service claimed him, and shockingly, he turned into a wildebeest again. And then he kind of started to lose a little bit, and now it's possible he's just lost it. I mean, I've got him 4th.
You notice with the trainers that are on the indictment, these horses found theirs. A lot of the horses that were claimed were old speed horses that miraculously, not so miraculously, found their speed.
You're dead right about that. You are dead right.
And I think with him, he's one of the more prolific because
you make a great point.
He's a nice horse. We all like him. He's won 13 times, right? He's been through the mill, as one would say.
But you're just not supposed to want any part of him going forward.
After the last 2 efforts, I know.
And you were right last time. You were dead right last time, and I was wrong to like him last time.
I feel bad for him at this point. I don't.
I don't disagree. Maybe he'll win, but I don't.
If he's going to win, it's going to be today for the quarter. You would think. Because there is a lot going on.
Aren't you worried that Banana Thief's going to get compromised again? And by the way, he got enough pace last time. I know he was off a layoff, but he didn't do a heck of a lot of running in there.
No, I know, but overall.
But he's run well off layoffs.
Yeah, overall, he's the one that usually brings his lunch pail and shows up every time. And he didn't last time, and I'm just hoping, and look, he's 8 now, so maybe Father Time is starting to catch up. And maybe, that's what it is. But I'm going to give him one more chance. And I do believe Douse's Beach always takes money. Shiraz is going to take money. The horse you put on top, who should take money.
I don't know who's going to take money because I can't guess around here. But
I think I'm going to get 6-7 to 1 on Banana Thief today.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Not a chance. You get 6 or 7 to 1 on him. I say not a chance. Unlikely. Because, see, you think Shiraz is going to take money. I don't. I think everybody's going to see the same thing. The horse never wins. He was claimed from Maker, and now he goes to Falcone. And he's not dropping. He's not dropping.
Right. No, it's a lateral.
No, it's not lateral. He's running in a tougher field.
Yeah.
25 horses of career winners are tougher. Now, this is a weird race because there's a lot of very questionable horses in this race. But, I mean, Shiraz's going to win back-to-back races, and with all due respect, Robbie Falcone's barn's been a little cold this year. I mean, you talk about cold barns, he is 4 for 67.
This race was a headache.
I agree. Well, I thought the problem I had was it became more about who I don't want to pick. I mean, I won't be shocked Banana Thief wins. I've got him third. I'm not saying he can't win, but I didn't like his last race. I've never liked Discretionary Mark. I give you some credit. You finally got away from him. Field of Courage, I don't know. I mean, I guess he could run better. He's not totally impossible. I took the Diodoro horse. He's got good numbers off of layoffs with turf sprinters. Trainer switches are okay. He's run against better horses, and I'm just hoping this horse can still run because he's got races that'll drown this field.
That he does.
I don't have any confidence in him. Don't get me wrong. And this is a cold barn, too. The Diodoro barn wins a lot, and their horses are not running well at the meet. And I know that's why you didn't like him, and I don't blame you.
He has races 2 years ago that would just absolutely smother these horses. He even has 1 or 2 last year.
What about Kitten's Cat coming back on short layoff?
I almost put Kitten's Cat on top.
Linda's 1 for 3, 1 to 7 days. 5 furlongs to 6 furlongs in the turf, for what it's worth, and the other 2 finished second, so they do come back. My problem is I had this horse beat a very weak field for Mike Maker, and I love Linda, but I don't want to claim for Mike Maker with turf horses.
I ordinarily don't either, but this is
But Duncastle.
I put him third.
Duncastle's not bad, and I'll tell you something. Louis Cardenas, you've got to go from the rail.
And if we're right, and Dowse's speed is gone, he may get himself in front in here.
He's going to be in front, I think. I got a lot of love for Duncastle.
I'm using him on everything. I wondered if Duncastle was going to take some money on that point, that if there are people out there who believe Dowse's Beach might be...
I think there are too many horses that are going to get bet. Dowse's Beach is going to get bet. Banana Thief's going to bet back. To a lesser extent, Shiraz is going to get bet. I think there's sort of guaranteed money pits in this race. Not to say any of those horses can't win, because I don't want to go out on a limb in this race and say any horse can't win.
I feel like if you like Duncastle, you're going to get your price. I feel like if you like Banana Thief, you're going to get your... I feel like there are horses in here. If you like Kitten's Cat, you're probably going to get your price. Those are the 3 horses I landed on.
Kitten's Cat's sort of the wild card. I probably should have been in 4th and just completely tossed Dowse's Beach. Yeah. Race number 8. There is no doubt. It's funny, you and I joke because we were talking about Intrepid Heart the other day, and he showed up in the entries from Wednesday about an hour after you and I were talking about him. I was thinking about this horse, Fort Worth, what happened to him just recently.
We did it with Tie to the Sea the other day, too.
Oh, yeah, he came up. But also, Tie to the Sea, that was worse. But then Intrepid Heart, too. I was wondering with this race. I must have seen somebody out of that race and said, whatever happened to that Todd horse who looked really good? And he came out of the Chancelot and Bodie Express race first time out. Listen, if this horse shows up, and Todd has those fabulous numbers off of long layoffs with dirt sprinters. He's 9 for 19 after losing the other day with the big fundamental. He's going to win. There's no doubt about it.
Who had never sprinted, by the way.
Yeah,
so
right.
when you put that stat up the other day, and this horse came back in, I said, I'm not going to try and...
But there might be horses that won that you wouldn't want to look at their PPs either and say you use them. So he's going to win probably. I just want to take a little shot against him. I don't want to bet horses like this at super short prices.
That's fine.
Because he wasn't on vacation, and he was gone a long time, Anthony.
That's fine. We've kind of found the same 3 horses, just in a little bit of a different order in here. I think Harris Bay is probably the most interesting of those 3.
Well, we feel a lot differently about it, though, because I think Andy Dancing can win this race.
I do, too.
And I think even if the 11 runs okay, I think Andy Dancing can win. And I don't think Harris Bay can beat Andy Dancing. You see this horse getting sort of shuffled out at the start. And that's when you got to watch. And the reality is the table's been set for him. His race is over. And this race was basically won forward. So he had no shot in dynamics. So he's the 3 horse. What happens to him at the start? Well, what happens is Dream Bigger, the number 4, comes over on him and just completely and totally, just cuts him off and takes him completely out of the race.
Takes his whole path away.
His race is over. It's just over. And I don't really think he ran that badly after it because he kept fighting and trying in the back of the pack in a race that was forward. He was wide. And this horse that showed promise in his debut, other than the favorite, there's nobody in here that does a lot for me. And I feel like a lot of people are looking, and now Chad Brown's horses are not taking as much money, so you're not getting as people feel like. And listen, fairly so. Chad's a little cold. He's won for, the last, week. So I get it. And Chad Brown's never won for the last week. So I do get that. But this horse is okay. And this horse showed promise debut, and this horse had significant trouble last time, and I don't think he ran that well, because without that trouble, he could run an 80 buyer. The winner of that race, finished fourth in yesterday's Alan Jerkins.
Kevin Mabastic ran well. Top of the stretch, he looked like he could win. He made a move at the top of the stretch. Looked like he was going to get to the money. Yeah, he ran really well.
And Harris Bezos looked great in his debut, and he's just been a disappointment.
Well, yes and no.
He was second by default last time.
He was. He had a little trouble in the notebook.
I know, but
throw the mile race out, right? He kind of looked. I mean, look, he only got beat less than 4 lengths in going a mile.
I've got him third. I'm not against him. I don't know. I kept waiting for him to run a good race.
He has Midnight Whiskey in here, Rickens in here, Riken.
Well, they're supposed to be moving a little bit.
They're supposed to be moving a little bit, and that'll help his cause. That'll help Gandy Dancing's cause, and but if Fourth Worth, you see, to me, if Fourth Worth comes back and runs either of those first 2 races,
he's going to win. I don't disagree. He runs either of his first 2 races, and this field's in trouble. I do not disagree. I think his first race is probably better than that 80 buyer suggests. That was a race that came back and was a very, very, that was a legitimate key race as opposed to bogus key races. Race number 9, standard deviation. Your pick was scratched. That was not a good scratch for you.
No, I know. I liked him today a lot.
That was a wise
took the air out of my sails here a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I fall into a 4 to 5 shot who I don't really like.
Yeah, that's the key to this race. Moretti is a horrifically bad favorite, but given who's left in the race, he might win. But he is about as dressed up as a horse can get. This win 2 back, this track got super speed favoring, and the reality is, his second last time was about as second by default as it gets. I mean, Mr. Buff was basically eased. How did Parsimony run out of that race here the other day in an allowance race?
Yeah.
And where is his good race besides this? And, okay, one thing Todd Pletcher, there's a lot of things Todd Pletcher's good at, but one thing he is finding horses that aren't that good that do excel at the longer distances. But I'm not even convinced he's excelling at the longer distances because that race was so phony. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to beat up on him, but he's going to be a short price, and I know you agree with me. I've got him second, by the way, because I had it 5-1-6 as well.
You're preaching to the choir, my friend. I have no idea.
His PPs fall apart under scrutiny.
I got to tell you the truth. I don't really like the rest of them. Look, Jack Sisterson had a great day yesterday, and you want to take a shot with that horse. He's probably the horse.
Whoa.
He's probably the horse if you're trying to beat Moretti. He's probably the only one you could try to beat him with. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to love the race.
Let's go. We're going to go through it. We'll show American Tattoo's win in the off the turf. Oh, this was a great Twitter narrative. Do you remember this Twitter narrative? What was it? Was it Jose Irad was helping Jose win? Right, because Irad wasn't trying to keep Paco in because Paco and Irad didn't have enough of a clear seeming feud down in Florida. That's what that was about. I don't know if Irad even knew his brother was in front. And by the way, he was going to help his brother win on a 30 cents to the dollar horse.
Right.
That is the Ortiz brothers thing on Twitter.
And by the way,
is my favorite narrative.
Karen got to be 3 lengths that day.
Yeah.
In contention at the 8th hole.
The Ortiz brothers narrative on Twitter is one of my favorites. Like 2 guys that would Irad would do anything to win races. They're the most competitive guys are, but they're helping each other.
Guess what? 2 of the best guys in the colony are going to finish first and second an awful lot. Whether their names is Ortiz,
because they're helping each other win.
Stabile, Serling, you name it.
Because they're helping each other win.
You name it.
It's so embarrassing.
Hansen.
And the problem with those narratives is it takes away from trying to figure out what's actually going on in the game. You spend your time on the grassy knoll and you don't actually try to figure out what's going on. You know what? Jack Sisterson obviously is doing a good job. I mean, look what he's done with
Jack's
Vexatious.
A good guy. He's an excellent horseman. He's giving a percent of his earnings towards COVID research through the rest of the year. He announced that back in March or April. So good. They got his first Grade 1 win yesterday with Vexatious. That was good.
You do have to worry about his last race.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm not overly confident in this horse.
Listen,
I don't love this horse.
Listen, he's the only horse I think you could take a legitimate shot to beat Moretti with, and I didn't like him enough to do it.
I mean, you can't take Rocketry because it just seems like whatever magic formula he had, he just lost it last year. He was so good 2 years ago.
He got good.
It was like he caught lightning in a bottle, and he's still okay, but he doesn't finish his races off. I mean, you've got Expert second.
Isn't it amazing with Rocketry, though? Like, Rocketry won 2 races, and it seems like Rocketry won, like in your mind, in my mind, it's like he won 8.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, what happened to Rocketry? And you're like, wait a second, he only won 2 races. He only won those 2 races.
Right.
Why was I so?
I always liked this
enthralled with
horse.
him? Yeah.
You know, I always like the Centennial horses. He just hasn't run a.
Yeah.
The problem is he's a closer who can't finish the deal.
Doesn't finish it. He gets set up, and he doesn't.
Let me ask you a
anymore.
question. Are you convinced that You're to Blame can't win this race?
I'm not convinced, Andy, that any of them can't win the race.
I'm not convinced that You're to Blame is that much less likely to win than Moretti. How's that?
I'm not convinced that he can't win the race.
How's that? I'm.
No.
Moretti's going to end up winning this race. And listen, you've got him on top, but you don't like him either. And I've got him second, and I don't like him either. It just became tough because, by the way, Highland Sky ran third and was placed second yesterday. You admit it. You were momentarily proud of him.
I
bet him. I bet $20 on him. I couldn't help it.
You have to.
I love him.
You have to.
He actually ran well. He came from last in that race.
I know experts races.
Wasn't he carried along by the track last time, though? For Linda.
He was. For Linda Rice. But, I mean, he has a license in here.
Not by me, but okay.
He has a license in here.
Got good for Linda. You really think he's a 1 3/4 horse? What is a 1 3/4 horse?
That's what with what's left, that's why I like standard deviation so much. I feel like he was just going to, eat
well,
up
the other thing
ground.
about standard deviation was there was an argument that he could have been a decent dirt horse, and I think that's what Graham was looking at. I know.
I thought he was just going to eat up ground.
I think Graham might want to
stay.
consider what I originally said about him. I'm not sure he doesn't want to run shorter. A little shorter than 1 3/8.
Well, maybe he was going to give this a try, and then maybe he was going to pull the reverse Perrette, go 1 3/4 and then 7.
Maybe he saw you picked him and he scratched him.
I don't blame him. I don't
Race
blame
number
him. It's not
10.
like you picked him, though.
That's right, exactly. Race number 10, striking speed on the rail. Will show his debut. He's probably going to win this race. I couldn't pick him on top. This is such an anti-Linda move. This horse ran terrific first time out. Then she lays up. Okay, you want to prep on the turf? Fine. All right, 75,000. Okay. Horse a homebred. Now she's running for 30. Linda's not the kind of trainer that does this to win races.
No, she's not.
She's saying this guy is worth 30. And if she thinks he's worth 30, it probably means he's worth 15.
I was just about to say the same thing. And that was the exact number I was going to say.
She's not going. Linda's the kind of person that goes shopping. She knows what things are worth, and she's not spending more money than they're worth. She's as smart and shrewd about this as anybody.
Yeah.
So.
It was hard. I mean, this was another race.
But how's your horse going to win this race?
Hopefully sitting just off of Linda's horse.
But you do realize, Louis owns this horse. Louis
Andy,
Lazzaro owns this horse. Now I got. I was trying to figure out how you could pick this. Anthony, this horse was on the biggest speed track in the history of New York racing last time out,
Andy,
and was second by default in an off-the-turf race.
Okay, but who do you want in here?
I thought it was Door's race between the 1 and 2. Personally, I like the claim by Diodoro on Tactician, and I thought the winner would be the 1 or 2, and I picked the 1 would be a better price. That's all.
Okay.
I like Louis too. I'm not friends with him like you are, but I didn't like his horse.
I just think he's
hope
gonna
he,
lay
I hope
up
he
off the
understands. I know some owners are mad when I don't like their horses. You should be happy when I don't like your horses.
I just think he's going to lay up off the 1.
That got Colleen's attention.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't
really. I don't know. You don't think Kicking Kirby's going to be forward here?
What about Mott? About height?
I think that Bonafina was aggressively ridden last time because of the way the track was playing.
What about height?
What about
height stretching out?
From post 9? Tough to show speed from post 9 in the dirt unless you've got a lot of speed. Right? And he doesn't even really have a lot of speed.
No, I don't. I mean, I think between the 1 and 3, and you mentioned Kicking Kirby, I think there'll be some pace. At least there'll be some horses.
They'll be flying out there.
30 maidens.
They'll be ripping it up out there. They could break 50 for a half here. That's how fast they'll be going. I doubt it.
Surprise you if height picks these horses up? If they're just all struggling the last 3/16 of a mile, is that going to surprise you? If any of them come,
surprise me? No, I've got them 4th.
Right.
I mean, it won't shock me. Surprise me? Yeah.
I mean, even
Anthony,
double advantage.
How would you rate height 2nd last time?
It's terrible. It was going 6.5 furlongs, and now he's going.
But Bill Mott's been only
1.8.
running him short.
I know.
So I don't think Bill's been screaming out.
But he also came back from a 10-month break. You know, Bill's not the kind of horse to just. Bill's not the kind of horseman that just. He's going to try and. I mean, it looks to me like he's running.
The race came up. He's looking for a
bit.
place to run him. What's he going to do with him? I mean, he's not exactly in the top 12 in his barn.
But I would assume that this horse is going to improve stretching out. I almost put him on top, but I don't trust the fact that he hasn't run this horse long yet.
I can't speak for you, but I'm already looking forward to the Talking Horses next Wednesday. Anyhow, it's been fun. Head over to Naira Bets. You can complete this. All the fun you've had watching this. We will match up.
You know these bottles are made of glass?
$200 sign-up bonus. I can't throw it at you. It'll hit your head, and you won't even notice it. We'll match the $200 your initial deposit. Use the promo code SPA to become a member of Naira Bets, and you can participate in $5 bonus, betting $25 to win in the last here and the fourth at Del Mar. Also want to remind people, and that's through the app only, by the way, to watch Saratoga Live all day, every day that we're racing. That's Wednesday through Sunday. Yes, Anthony?
I have nothing.
You looked like you did.
Nope. Nothing
Okay.
from me.
You good? All right.
Nothing from me.
He's Anthony Stabile. I'm not. The guy next is John Imbrial. He's the voice of New York racing, and he is coming up with a reprise of the Scratches and Changes.
Hello, racing fans, and once again, welcome to Saratoga. Mostly cloudy skies right now. We do see a few patches of blue up there. Temperature around 80 degrees. Main track is fast. The turf courses are firm. Portable rails up at 18 feet on the melon and the inner. And we have a jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of more than $930,000.